Welcome to Custer Wolfe Building a Watch Company, Season 2, Episode 1. My name's RT.
And I'm Tyler.
And today we're talking about the moving process, which is still kind of ongoing, as well as why these chairs will not make it to Episode 2. There we go. I'm ready. I'm aligned now. Okay. So yeah, the move is going. I would say 80% done-ish.
I think that's a pretty good number. I mean, it's going. It didn't go poorly, but I wouldn't say it was the smoothest move ever.
But I feel like we talked at least a few times about how there's no way this is going to be smooth. We plan to move. The first time we planned to move, I think, was going to be September or October of 2021, and we actually moved technically late June of 22. So thanks, COVID.
The plan has evolved.
It has come together. Yeah, I mean, I think all things considered, I mean, we're sitting in the new studio today. This is version 1 of the set. Lots of alterations coming. These chairs smell like cigarette smoke, so
Because we bought them on Craigslist.
and so we're gonna upgrade the chairs because now I probably smell like smoke. But other than that, we're gonna build a nicer, different background. But as you can see, we upgraded the microphones. We got a bunch of cameras going on.
We've got sound foam in the studio.
I think it's, it's like
We're
it's a
getting
real
there.
thing.
We've got these mics.
Season 2.
Very cool mics.
Here we are. Yep.
But yeah, I mean, we're still very much right in the middle of the move. Just yesterday was the first day we had shop air in the whole place.
Yeah, compressed air. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. We've had Derek building watches for the last week, but he's been using a little mini compressor to run things like the pressure tester, and makes it difficult for him not to have air blast to get dust out of the cases. We've been running a single line off of the compressor just to be able to start up and run one machine at a time and start getting them set up. But now we've got air to the entire building, and it is awesome. We set everything up. It's real. It's really nice.
Yeah, and it looks cool too. I mean, from the last episode of season 1, you probably saw the clean room and the machine shop and all that kind of stuff. But now, as we walk through those, you'll see blue airlines, and they stand out from all the electrical work and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, they weren't meant to look cool, but they do look cool. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's if I had to do it again, I would do it a little bit differently. These airlines are really neat the way you can just kind of drill into them and add a drop, an airline wherever you want it. So if we could do it again, I would have run the main airline pipes before we moved, and then just did the drops after we moved.
Yeah.
But because we wanted the drops to be in the exact spots that we wanted them to be in, we waited until after the move to do the airlines, and once all of our stuff was in the way, it was a lot harder for them to get around.
Yeah.
And it made it more difficult for them, and it made it more difficult for us because we kind of had to shut down and work around them for those days. But we're hooked up now, and we'll keep that in mind for next time.
Hopefully we don't move again. Somebody watching this, remind us never to move this company again. We're thankfully we own this building. We shouldn't have to go anywhere. I mean, if we move again, it'll be for a good problem. Oh crap, we need to make 10,000 or more watches a year. How do we do this?
Yeah.
So, and we talked about that too, because it's just okay, when we get to that kind of scale, we can go up. We could put a second story on this building, but then you have the at what cost standpoint, where we should probably just put keep Vortic here, and then put mechanical products and any other future companies and private label manufacturing, all the other cool stuff we want to do that's very scalable in a different, bigger building somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, we've had lots of conversations about what we would do, but we have an awesome facility here, and we're going to kind of see what happens. There's different tiers at which different things make sense depending on where we're at as a company, and we filled up this building pretty quick.
Yeah.
We're definitely spread out, and there's not a ton of extra storage or anything like that. But with what we have here, we can really do some damage. I mean,
For sure.
the building turned out for all the effort that it took and all the time and all the extra money and delays. I mean, couldn't be much happier.
No, I think it looks awesome. And, we're going to do a soft opening here pretty soon. Friends and family kind of stuff. Just, get some feedback. Grand opening in a month or so. Got to find, somebody real important to cut the ribbon. Hopefully that'll be fun. One of my next projects. And I think the finishing touch that we just haven't done yet is putting the sign on the building. So
Yep.
that'll be really cool. We'll get some video of that process and do a little before and after for everybody on future episodes.
Yeah, the technical maximum sign size without getting a permit is 2 foot by 2 foot, and our sign is 7 foot in diameter,
Which is larger.
we need to talk to the city again before we hang that. But we want to backlight it and make it really cool. And then we're also talking about possibly hanging a large clock
Right.
on the screening around our HVAC equipment on the top of the shop. So that would be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, we've still got a fair amount of finishing touches to do. There's kind of like ready to work, which is where we're at right now. And then there's kind of fully moved in. And I think it may take us almost a month to get fully moved in. But it's small things like hanging and organizing all the bins in the assembly room.
Right.
Derek's got a different workflow in there, and he's got different equipment in different spots. So he's still figuring out exactly what he wants to do with storage in different areas and how those are going to work. He's got Kent starting on Monday.
Yep.
Our new watchmaker Kent, which we're stoked to have out here. He moved here to Fort Collins from Flagstaff, Arizona.
Yep.
So very similar town. But yeah, a lot going on for all of us. In the machine room, we still need to clean up and get everything organized. Again, we've got different workflow, different positions of everything, different tables.
It looks
it takes a lot of-
really cool in there, though. Like when we're giving somebody a tour of that machine room, like it looks like we know what we're doing. I think you know what you're doing. So
Yeah,
it's coming together.
We've been faking it till we make it for long enough. I think we're starting to get to the point where we know what we're doing. But it's
pretty great.
with I think what I learned, I underestimated all the small things and how long that would take.
Mm-hmm.
Because it really, yesterday was the first day that I was really able to sit in front of the machine and start setting up
Yeah.
all day. Just because there's so many little things here and there. Like we wanted to ultrasonic a case yesterday, and an hour later, once we have everything set up, now it's finished.
Yep.
And I spent a lot of time this past weekend just standing there staring at it like, what do I want to do? And that's even after I had I 3D modeled the entire machine room.
Right.
I thought I had an idea of what I wanted, but when we actually got there, you have a ton of new ideas and you have a different perspective on how it should be and how it's going to work. So that, honestly, for me, that's the biggest time suck, is kind of the standing there looking at it.
Yep.
And you kind of have to do that.
Well, and it's the same as, when you move your house, if you're moving like your home office or even your living room, it's like, do we want the TV on that wall or that wall? And, until you kind of put the furniture in there and see how big the couch is in relation to the room. I mean, this is a much bigger, much more expensive, valuable, important decision for us than just where the couch goes. But that's it's kind of a similar process. We really have to see how it flows and get the feng shui going, basically.
The vibe.
The vibe. We gotta have a good vibe. Which the flag in that room
The flag looks great.
really, really adds to the vibe, I think.
Yeah. Good choice.
It's coming together. Yep. And I think, on that note, probably we can talk about like what's coming in the next, really the difference between season 1 of Custer Wolfe and season 2. I mean, season 1, we were doing basically just these bi-weekly kind of updates, keeping you posted on everything. And there was a lot to talk about as far as the upcoming move and all the change we're making and all that stuff. And season 2 here, we're going to do the same core concept. So once every other week, we're going to sit down and kind of, just do a little behind the scenes, what's going on in now a professional studio. I'm going to try to add a lot more B-roll now that we have William here, helping us out and physically in the shop, and we can get a bunch more kind of behind the scenes footage that we can overlay on this kind of stuff. And then we're going to try to make the episodes shorter based on some feedback we received, or just like maybe, if we're doing this really consistently, we can probably be a little more concise, which makes total sense. I think that's coming together. And then the weeks in between, we'll do basically just one of us, and we'll talk about something really, specific. I think for you, you're thinking what you can basically just explain that machine room and like where the machines are and stuff like that. I mean, is that kind of what you're thinking for next round?
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'll dig into things more specific to us.
Yeah.
So for me, my focus is totally on the machine room, and there's a ton of little cool improvements that are probably maybe uninteresting to our general audience, but for the people that are interested, that's our opportunity to dig a little bit deeper into specifically what we do. And, the devil's in the details. It's the small things that make life better.
For sure.
The product better, life better, the company better. And that's what those episodes are for.
Yeah, and the why for all of this is, I mean, keeping people updated on what we're doing as far as Vortic and just what you and I are doing with building, multiple watch companies, and that's why we call it building a watch company. But there's a lot of, I think, our audience that wants to know these kind of things and like the information and the context behind it all. But then there's also people that they want to see how it's made. They want to see a lot more of what you're doing, and they care a lot about the American-made machining, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's probably a subset of people, and we're making some assumptions here, so totally hit us up in the comments if we're off base. But I think there's another subset of people that probably want to hear more about the business side, the marketing side, and the financial, like how do we afford all this kind of stuff, and how do we put our money to work and grow a business financially too. So those are the kind of things that I'll talk about once a month, and give people a look into what's coming, what's next, and where we're going.
Yeah, and I think on that note, if anybody has comments or topics they want us to cover or dig into, definitely let us know.
Yeah. I think starting with the machines and just answering our like, what is a CNC machine? What is a CNC lathe? Like, what does CNC even stand for, right? Like, there's a lot of questions that we get like that, and I think it'll be fun to answer those.
Yeah, or why does the watch have tool marks on it?
Yeah.
What is the process? Why is this the way it is?
Yep.
Happy to answer all those questions, because everything has a reason. There's nothing wasted on a watch.
Why are your watches so big? There's a pocket watch inside. Yeah. I mean, there's lots and lots of things like that we can go into. So we're excited to share all that, and that's really what's coming. So yeah, like Tyler said, if there's anything else that you want to see, that's really the point of season 2 is putting out a lot more content, showing a lot more behind the scenes, and answering those questions about what separates a Vortic watch and the watches that we make in this building from other watches and other people doing similar stuff. So
yeah, and as kind of a general update, we have had a job listing for a machinist.
yeah,
live for a little while now, so thank you if you applied. We will be in touch soon. We're going to start doing interviews next week, and I officially set the start date for August 22nd.
Nice.
So we are going to start interviewing, and that will be awesome to have a machinist in-house, somebody to operate the machines. We're looking for somebody with a lot of experience, ideally somebody that's already here. We don't necessarily want somebody to relocate, but we're not against it.
Yep.
To operate the machines, maintain the machine room, and hopefully have enough experience or enough training that they can make a few parts on their own and set up machines, program machines, not just a button pusher.
Yep. And that'll let you focus on R&D and future products and all that kind of stuff. So
Exactly. Yep. It's a lot of work just maintaining the machine room. So
yeah,
that'll allow Sky and I to be in our office designing and pushing forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So we got watchmaker Kent starting soon, and then machinist after that, and then we'll keep you updated on how else we're using that grant that we got and the other, American jobs we're creating, right? That's the point of it. So
Exactly.
I'm excited. Well, I think that's it for season 2, episode 1 of Custer Wolfe Building Watch Company. Thanks so much for joining us. If you want to follow along on a weekly basis, go to vorticwatches.com and put yourself on our email list. You can find a couple ways to do that down in the footer, or you'll get a pop-up or a slide out. But just hop on our email list. We send links to this show once a week in our every Tuesday email newsletter. You can also follow us on Instagram on the Custer Wolfe Show, and then also at Vortic Watches on Instagram. And if you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe right down below here on YouTube so you get the alerts when we come out with new episodes.
Thanks for watching, everyone.
See you next time.
That was pretty natural.